I'm going to take you through a typical day. I remember lots of days when I tried to give up drink and I wasn't fully committed. I'll just take you through a typical day of when I was really down and I thought I'm going to give it a go. And I planned my day. Right, what I'll do is I'll get up reasonably early. Maybe for me it was 8 o'clock. I planned, I'll wrote it all down. If I write it down, I've got a good chance of sticking to it. So I'll wake up feeling absolutely terrible. 8 o'clock, and I think, well, what I'll do is I'll just I'll try and get some water down me. I couldn't drink tea or coffee. Remember, I've been drinking water for months and months and months, doing every day, and have a cup of coffee. Oh, it was just out of the question. So a little bit of water was, at least to start something. I'd probably be coughing up bile, maybe coughing up some blood. I just hung over the sink. I was so weak, I used to hang over, really sort of shaking and whatnot. And then I think, well, I must try and get to 9 o'clock. I used to pace round the flat, pace round and round and round. I thought, well, I'd love to be able to go for a walk, but I was too anxious really to go for a walk. I thought, well, I would have fallen over. I always had this fear of being too weak to walk and unable to get anywhere, and my anxiety level was through the roof. So when you get 9 o'clock, I think, oh God, I just need a drink to get a wash. I didn't get a wash by that time. I start to shake a little bit. I sort of sit down on the bed, and I'd lie down a bit more, and then I'd fall asleep again. Maybe somebody would ring me off £10, making sure I was still there. Sometimes just to ignore the call, but I thought I'd better ring them back. They would say, you've been drinking again. I said, no, I'm on a day off, all this sort of thing, feeling guilty, feeling terrible, feeling rough. And eventually I'd stagger up a little bit and reopen the blinds in the flat and throw a bit of water on my face. I looked terrible. I had long hair and a ponytail. It was dreadful. I said in the previous videos, I had rats in the flat. I couldn't let anybody in to fix anything. No boiler, no hot water. Just living like a tramp. I was living like a trapped animal, trapped in my own rubbish, really, if that makes sense. I was swearing too much, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't concentrate on anything. I just felt so down, so depressed, so guilty, and just life was rubbish. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't get the doctors. I couldn't do anything. And then we get to 11 o'clock, I start to shake a bit more. And I think, well, I've had previous seizures. What am I going to do? I used to ring 111 sometimes, and they would say, well, there's not much we can do at the moment. Ring the doctors up. I couldn't get anywhere, but I wanted somebody to come and get me, Nobody came, obviously, because the only way you're going to get somebody is to ring 999. I didn't have the bottle for that at that time. So I'd probably then, there's numerous days, nip the kitchen, try and put a little bit of Stella Lager into a glass and have a couple of sips just to stop the shaking. Try and feel normal, and have a little sips and sick that up again. Just constantly being sick, constantly bile, had terrible stomach pains and a sore throat with just retching, dry retching sometimes. It was horrendous. Eyes would be all red and I'd start to sweat and feel really terrible. I never felt hungry at that time. I'm talking about 2017, 2018, 2019, before I was taken into hospital. 2 or 3 years of this. So the typical day, maybe have another can then, and then be sick again midday. So I managed about 3 hours of trying to stop drinking. And then it was a case of all I was told by various people, including GPs and such, like, taper down. So I thought, I've got this taper to do from 10 to 9, 8, 7, 6. I could hardly ever do it. I tried a couple of times, but parents always get back onto it. So I'd try and think, well, I'd better just have 10 today, cans. So I have a couple more. By about 3 o'clock, I had about 6. And I think, well, I'm getting a bit low on stock here. By then, I felt a little bit better. I still looked shocking, but felt a little bit better. 4 o'clock, I thought, I've got to get out of this flat at some point, in the day, and just to see life, especially in the summer. I was doing this for years, on and off. And then I'd ring a taxi up and go down to a pub in the High Street, which now I could walk to. I couldn't even walk around the block of the flats without feeling I was going to fall over. So I'd go try and get in the taxi, get in the taxi with some help from the taxi driver. They all knew me. Go down to a local pub, one of which is Wetherspoons, actually, funny enough, and try and have a couple of pints of Guinness. That was easy to get down, Guinness, especially with a little bit of blackcurrant in it. I had to focus what I was drinking, you see, and I think, well, I've had these 6 cans, maybe I'll have a few more later. I better go to the shop and get a bit more supply. There's a shop with one of these sort of 7-Eleven type things. It was on till 10. And I used to go up there and get a few more cans of this rucksack, black rucksack. It was a great big, proper, like really good rucksack. It needed to be strong, you know, I already carry it. And then I get a few supplies and go back to the pub. Sometimes I couldn't get to the supply shop, as it were, the corner shop. She was like, get a mate of mine who's seriously ill, funny enough, with a drink now. He used to pop in and get some for me. He was a little bit better than me. He could walk a little bit. And had supplies, and well, got that. Stay out till about 10:30, 11. Get a taxi back, and it's a long, lonely night. So all this time I'm trying to cut down, trying to stop. I couldn't stop. I couldn't cut down because I hadn't had the amount I needed to get me to comatose, to get me to the point of, well, we're going to lie down and fall asleep. I'd had enough just to get me out of a state of serious withdrawal, where I was feeling anxious all the time, shaking all the time, sweating, all this sort of thing. And I was really down with all that, mentally, physically, completely done in. It was shocking the way I looked. People who hadn't seen me for a while, you know, on a photograph or something, they would say, crikey, you need to get some help. I tried to get help, you know. And that was my typical sort of day, and I just couldn't stop. And people say, why didn't you just stop? Why didn't you just take it around? You can't. If you're in active addiction, anyone watching this who is in active addiction will know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the pressure's on from all angles to stop. From your inner self, it's the first one. I wish I could stop. I want to go back 10 years. I want to go back when I was sober. I want to love being sober. I want to love my life again. But you can't do it because this drink has you so trapped. And it gets to the point where you can't live, you can't function, you can't do anything. I've never been on any of the drugs other than alcohol, because alcohol is a drug, and forget this nonsense about alcohol and drugs. It's all the drugs, whether it's heroin, cocaine, alcohol, or MDMA, whatever you want to call it. It's all drugs. It's all mind altering. It alters your mind so much, especially alcohol, because it's so available, you can get it everywhere. And you get to the point where you want to give up. You have dark thoughts. What would life be like if I wasn't here? Who would, you know, miss me? All this rubbish, really. But it's not like that when you're in it. I can look back now and think, wow, what was I thinking? What a mess, you know. When you're in the middle of it, it's impossible to think outside of the prison you're in, if that makes sense. You can't think 5 months ahead. You can't think 5 days ahead. You can think 5 minutes ahead, because you don't know what your mind's going to tell you to do. And the fear and the anxiety of having withdrawal just overtook my life. And, you know, that's why I couldn't stop. I just could not stop drinking until I was hospitalised and forced to stop drinking, if that makes sense. A lot of you out there can stop, and it's brilliant if you can stop and stay off. Stay off. I'll help you stay off. That's what I'm good at, staying off it. Keeping away from it, because I know that if I go back, I won't be here much longer. 6 months maximum. Anyway, if you want any help with that, I do one-to-one support, mentoring, that sort of thing. I'll stick some links on the video. If you benefit from this channel, then please subscribe and share it. I've got an ebook out as well, which has proved very useful for people. Just a bit of a handy reminder not to go back in the booze, not to pick up that first drink. I'll speak to you all very soon.